Hi everyone, thanks for having me today. What a great opportunity to talk about a brand we at RB are so excited about in Mega Red. A brand that's really a wonderful success story when you look at brands in the Omega world, and a brand that you could really say is a success story when you look at healthcare brands launched most recently. Mega Red's a brand that I've been working on for about a year now, and have approached this work with so much excitement and see so much potential both in this Omega category and what this brand can do for consumers in US and countries outside of the US as well. So before I go into Mega Red though, I just want to take a little bit of time to talk about RB as a company. Many of you may have heard about RB or may have not, but if you look at the company, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, globally focused, locations all over the world. Traditionally, if you looked at us as an organization 7 years ago, we were primarily a household products brand. When you think of brands like Lysol, Airwick, Woolite, Spray and Wash, Finish dishwasher detergent, I can go on forever with the brands we have. But over the last 7 years, the organization's really looked at what we're good at and really looked at trends in the market and what's happening out there in this world, not only in the US, again, globally. You look at things like life expectancy dramatically increasing, and this leading to an increase in healthcare costs. And these cost increases having a dramatic effect on the budgets of government. And following through on these trends, these governments are trying to find solutions to manage these budgets and pushing their agendas toward more of a world of self-medication. It's these trends that RB that started to look at 7 years ago and started to rethink where we were focusing a lot of our resources and a lot of our attention. When you look at the consumer, consumers are wanting to feel younger for longer. Health is becoming more of a lifestyle issue for them rather than just a medical issue. And again, trends like this and consumer statements like this that we're seeing lend itself well for a company like RB that has a very strong competency in terms of connecting with the consumer, understanding the consumer, and finding relevant solutions for consumers in their lives. So over the last 7 years, it's no surprise for us, given what we've been studying, that the company's evolved and trended towards more of a focus on health. Our vision and purpose 7-8 years ago most likely didn't have health at the forefront of what we do. And whereas today, it is at the forefront. And over the last 5 years, our acquisitions, our investment in existing healthcare brands has been very strong and really has been the focus for our company. And we've been one of the largest and fastest growing healthcare companies over the last few years. From a healthcare perspective, we've been involved, I guess, a little bit longer than 5 years ago, but again, mentioning the 5-year thing as a key area for ramp up. When we look at the specific mechanics of the company, it's a fairly simple formula. The company really was started from ground zero in 1989 and again has grown to, I think, well over $15 billion in annual revenue. But the formula is simple. Focus on innovation. Provide innovative solutions to consumers on a regular basis. Take these solutions, take these products that connect very nicely with consumers and make sure they fit into a global footprint and support these good ideas with heavy marketing and heavy support. And again, a formula we've approached to all categories, not only healthcare, but from a healthcare front, we've evolved. In brands like Mucinex, we've taken from an acquisition stage in the OTC arena, picking that Mucinex up, and over the last few years, we've turned that into the largest consumer healthcare brand in the United States. We're pretty much present in all healthcare areas, and when we looked at, if we're going to be a big player in healthcare, what would be a critical area to be in? And VMS is an area that came up for us as being very critical for us to really provide the right mix of solutions to consumers when evaluating how to improve their healthcare situation. And when the opportunity came up to buy Schiff, it really resonated with us. This is a company that had a wonderful portfolio of brands that connected with the consumer the way that we connected with consumers on other brands. They had brands like Move Free, Airborne Digestive Advantage, that were benefit-focused solutions, really focused in on how they can make a difference in consumers' lives from the benefit that the product offered. But the one brand that really stood out to us when we were evaluating the company at Schiff was MegaRed. This is a segment of Omega's, an Omega brand, an Omega product that we've really felt had so much legs. Not only that was the brand set up in a way that had equity that we felt could be really stretched and taken to new areas, we felt that the Omega segment was one that was here to stay and one that we could take forward in years to come. So when we look at this brand, tremendous success story. It's not been around for that long. In fact, it's been only around since 2008. When I look at the journey of this brand, I'd look at it in three main segments. The beginning was a little bit of a test market where Schiff spent some time taking this business in smaller segments, understanding how it could work. Then they took it to the next stage where they created a strong infrastructure for something they really believed in. And once they had that infrastructure and distribution, the brand was poised for tremendous growth, and with that growth required the investment, and that investment was made by Schiff, continued to be made by RB, and really helped drive this brand to what it is today. When we look at what we saw in this brand when we took it a little bit more, less than a year and a half ago, three key things that we saw as critical to current success of MegaRed and future success. And it was a product that was relevant to consumer. And I'll go into details, but in so many ways is this product relevant to consumers. Deeply rooted in science. You know, if you really have a product that's rooted in science and rooted in fact and can speak to consumers in a way that logically makes a connection to their lives, you've got something good. And thirdly, and really has become more and more important for us as we learn more about how valuable this is to us as a company, the customers we work with and the consumers we sell this product to, is sustainability. So I'll go into each of these areas in a little bit more detail. When we talk about relevance, you look at cardiovascular disease and how widespread it is, and it being the #1 risk factor, cause of death for people in the U.S. You can't find more relevance than that. And the fact that Omega's has such strong science, such a strong connection in terms of being able to help people in their lives, this was something that we felt was a product that is and can be further relevant to consumers in their lives. Omega's as a segment. This is a segment that, when we started looking at it, had tremendous growth, tremendous trends, and even though the last couple months hasn't been as positive as we would have liked it to be, much of our research and much of our work with consumers all over the world and the United States is showing that the slight flatness or downturn on Omega's is very short term, and we see continued strong growth in this area, which is why Reckitt continues to do nothing but massively increase our investment in this area in supporting our Omega brand. When we talk about consumer relevance, consumer experience is critical. You have a good experience, you're going to become a lot more relevant. Everything else that's relevant to the product is going to be is going to help improve your connection to consumer. So important to the brand there and important to us. Science. I mentioned science is the #2 area that of what we found was attractive, and nothing new to this group here. We all understand how critical Omegas can be to the health of people, how much benefit it can provide people from cardiovascular health to brain health to joint health. There's so much out there and an endless list of possibilities. And as marketers, we love to see that. And that war chest of benefits that we continue to communicate was very attractive for us. And we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. A lot of what we do is focused on cardiovascular health. But again, as we all know from the omega benefits, there's so much more that can be done. From a science perspective as well, when we started into this brand, started looking at this brand, it was nice to see that this brand had a partner in Aker that was very committed to science as well. Aker, being our krill partner, had shown and had spoken to us about their commitment to science, their involvement in producing clinical work and publishing studies was very clear. Their commitment to creating a scientific group back at their home office in Norway, again, very impressive to us. And their commitment to bring key leaders around the world on omegas and help drive positive agenda on how omegas are viewed worldwide was something we really saw of value in a partner. Sustainability, that was the third critical success factor that we saw in Mega Red. And at RB, it's something we live on a day-to-day basis. We as a company have very strong goals, and just top-lining some goals that we have, we'd like to see 1/3 of our products by 2020 to be products that we truly see as products that are sustainable. We'd like to reduce our water consumption that's needed to produce our products by 1/3 by 2020. And every day we're focusing on driving down our carbon footprint. So for us, sustainability is part of who we are and part of how we operate on a day-to-day basis. And again, having a partner in Aker who has the same values and principles was critical to us, and how they harvested the krill was important to us, and it being done in a sustainable way with the eco-harvesting method, and the partnerships that were already in place with the source of krill. Again, very critical for us as a multinational company with a lot of brands on the line when it comes to this type of topic. So keep it on the topic of sustainability. We've looked at the success curve of this brand and what it's taken, and I think a lot of you have seen ads on what's built the equity. But one of the areas that the more we've dug into it with our customers, who are very keen on ensuring that they're selling products that are sustainable, our consumers are very motivated by a sustainability message. It's almost what we've learned from our research, a cost of doing business, and something they expect to hear a story on. So for us, the more we've learned about ways to optimize our marketing message, the more we're committed to including that sustainability message into what we do. So I'm going to go into an example right now of actually a mass market campaign that we're going to start this week in the US. It's a 1-minute commercial. Traditionally we run 15s and 30s, so we feel the message has got a lot of legs in terms of good information and a nice connection to consumers. And what we get into is, one, how we harvest our krill in an environmental and safe way. Number two, we talk a little bit about the purity message of harvesting the krill from Antarctica, and then really touch on krill, the abundance of the biomass, and then a little bit more about how the environmental impact would not be affected if done in a way that's sustainable and studied properly. So probably the best way to talk a little bit more about this is to look right at to view the commercial, and I'll let you take a look.
I'm Justine Clark, and this is Heart Health Beat. Omega-3s are important for heart health, but most of us don't get enough through diet alone. So we take supplements like fish oil. But did you know that there's an alternative? It's called krill oil. Where does krill oil come from?
Krill oil comes from tiny crustaceans found in the Antarctic. Krill are one of the Earth's most abundant organisms, so they are sustainable when we harvest them in an environmentally sensitive way.
Dr. Mosqueda, what makes krill oil different?
Mega Red krill oil stands apart from fish oil because its omega-3s naturally occur in phospholipid form.
And why is that important?
Our cell's building blocks are also phospholipid, so omega-3s from krill oil are easy for our bodies to use.
Is it true that krill oil is easier to take?
Yes. Mega Red krill oil dissolves easily in your stomach, unlike fish oil, which floats on the top. So no fishy aftertaste, and it's just one small soft gel.
Support your heart health. Try Mega Red today.
So when we look at the brand, the success that the brand's had in the U.S., a lot of this the success in the case has been replicated. We have a lot of confidence in this category, the Omega segment in general, and see tremendous potential for it all over the world. Mega Red is now a brand that's in 25 countries in Europe alone, and one that we will continue to support. This is a category and a segment that we see has legs. And, you know, this one slide towards the end here, I got this slide and it looked like a lot of our activation here in the US, but surprised to see the level of engagement. These are activations in store in UK, which was amazing to see how well received the Omega market can be in a mass market way all over the world. So we look in conclusion here, when we look at the case study at Mega Red and look at the three key variables, definitely Omega is relevant to consumer with their benefits. The science is there, well supported and well understood by both professionals and consumers, and the sustainability for the future is a key message for us. So that's Mega Red, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about the brand.